We're
Giles, so
on.
you wanted to talk to me. You've got a mission, haven't you, to improve people's confidence and self-worth?
Yes, I think that's generally the case. Ever since I came across this colourful model of behaviour about 22 years ago, um, I have been gripped by its power to transform lives. And I know that sounds really grandiose, but it's what happened to me. And as soon as I started sharing it with other people of all classes, backgrounds, ages, their reaction was similar. Like, oh my God, why doesn't everybody know this stuff? And I started getting bits of feedback from guys saying, I know I've only just spent a morning with you, Giles, but I just had to let you know that you've changed my life. I haven't spoken to my son for 5 years. We had a massive fallout, a big tiff, and we've been on this ridiculous sort of like silent protest. And your color model just made me realize that probably one of the reasons that we fell out was because we are opposite types, right?
Right.
I'll go into that in a bit, but right. But um, and so I just decided to pick up the phone and start talking to him, and I explained the color model, and it was like light bulbs flashing all over the place. Long story short, Giles, we're talking again.
Oh,
And I was in tears reading this thing, just thinking, oh my God, here am I just trying to make a living. But there are people out there who are finding this stuff transformational. So, hey, that's what kept me really interested in the area of work that I work in. And I was using it like commercially for 12, 15 years before I decided to set up a charity to take the learning to people who perhaps, in my rather arrogant eyes, I think need it more,
mm,
or at least could benefit most from learning this stuff and would be least likely to be able to afford it. That
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, so about 7 years ago, the charity was set up, working specifically with like 15 to 25 year olds, economically or socially disadvantaged, angry, anxious, depressed, unemployed, uh,
Misunderstood.
misunderstood. And hey, you come in with that word. Can't we all, to a certain extent, identify with that? We all feel slightly misunderstood. This is why this stuff has such appeal. But especially kids who are struggling, yeah, misunderstood is a big word. Yeah,
This could really benefit absolutely everybody, no matter what your situation is or how old you are, or it could be for anyone really, couldn't it?
absolutely, absolutely. It's become standard language in my family.
Mhm.
When any of my kids, comes and announces a new girlfriend or boyfriend, one of my first questions are, "What are his colours?"
Yeah, yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, yeah, I want to know, because not that your colours define who you are. Of
No.
course they don't, but it's a language and an entry point to understanding more about someone. Um, the beauty is also right that when I was describing father and son not talking because they were opposite types.
Mm.
Of course, we've all got opposite types, and um, the psychology goes that it's with them that we're most likely to clash and fall out, right? Because we just literally we look at the world from a completely opposing angles. Um, we just go about things in entirely different ways. But they're also, at the same time, the people who, A, we probably need the most
Right.
because they challenge our worldview. They make us look and think about things in an entirely different way. And B, they're the people that we're most likely to settle down with. Boing!
Wow.
I know, this is the crazy stuff, right? So when I first did it, yeah, it's a little online questionnaire. Takes about 10 or 15 minutes, online questionnaire. And part of my brain is rather cynically thinking, oh, here we go, cosmopolitan personality questionnaire,
Yeah.
like wear Y fronts or boxers, that sort of thing. So I just did the 10 minutes, 15 minutes, me on me. And back came this profile that was just like, God, how do they know all of this stuff about me? It was really quite intense, and very personal and bizarre. And I'm reading through, and it describes me to a T, and then it describes this opposite type person, right? Not a concept that I was familiar with back then, but it describes it. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, that's my boss. That's why I hate working here. That's why he hates me, because we just really clashed. And it just jumped out at me, and I thought, wow, okay, now I understand it a little bit better. I ran home with the document just to show my wife, Lynn, because she'd been having to live with grumpy me for a few months. And I said, you won't believe this, Lynn. Read this document. She loved it when it was all about me, obviously. Um,
Oh,
especially all the weaknesses and blind spots. She
oh
loved those.
yeah.
They were hysterical. Something I've been trying to tell you for years, you idiot, I think were her words. But then I said, no, 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 read this opposite type one. Who's that then? And she read it through, and I was expecting her to say, it's David, my boss. But she turned around and told me that it was her. I go, oh my God. Hey, how sad is that? That when I'm reading through, the first person that comes to mind is my boss
Yeah.
before my wife. Oh God, really? Are we so wrapped up in work that, yeah, but yeah, we are.
Yeah.
But also, so how does that work then? How can I hate him and the feeling's mutual, but I can live in relative harmony with my wife?
Yeah.
But I tell you what, it started just a completely different sort of conversation. We'd been married, well, we'd been together already, sort of like 20 years or something. Um, but it just started a different level of conversation, and made me realize, A, how difficult it must be to live with me. Because, yes, I can be a complete dick. Um,
They do
but
say opposites
also,
attract, though, so that's proof right there.
well, so that's exactly it, Lorna. That's exactly it. Um, why do they attract? And they do. There's
Mm.
plenty of evidence to say that people of different personality types actually find each other attractive. And I rather like thinking about it and thinking, well, why is that? And it is, of course, in part because she is brilliant at all of the stuff that I beat myself up about being crap at. And there's something quite sweet in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, like I found her so attractive because she's everything that I'm not.
Oh.
She's she's kind, she's quiet, she's thoughtful, she puts other people first, she's reflective, she's um, warm and approachable and gentle, and hey, all of those things that I beat myself up about not being.
Very honest of you. So what
Well,
color is she?
she's very greeny blue.
Yeah.
I'm very yellow red.
Mhm.
I've got a feeling you're very yellow green, but I
Yes.
might be
Yeah.
wrong.
I did look at the,
Oh, did you?
I did look, yes. I was like, oh,
Okay.
those two I was going to ask, can you be both? Because,
Yes. Well, this is the beauty of it, right? Is that, and that's why, in essence, maybe I am attracted to my opposite, and you too, because we use all four. So I might be yellow red, but I go yellow red green blue.
mm,
And blue is therefore my least, but it doesn't mean that I don't use it. It's hidden away deep down
yeah,
there. I've got it. I'm just not used to using it. So when I try and use it, it's clunky. It's like an immature version of me because I just haven't used it over my 64 years. So it needs to be brought out of the garage and dusted down and brought and practiced to become any good. Um, which is why perhaps I love seeing it in other people, and it makes me wish that I was slightly better. I mean, do you have stuff that you just think sometimes your little inner voice goes, "Ah, oh, Jesus, I wish I was a bit more. I wish
intelligent
I."
and practical. I'm
um,
neither of those. I'm
um,
creative and passionate. And I care about people an awful lot,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
not practical.
Okay. Well, I'm not practical either. In fact, my wife won't let me anywhere near a drill. But intelligence is an interesting one because, of course, the stuff that we deal with and these colors is emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
right? And employers nowadays are far more interested in your level of emotional intelligence than in any qualification you may have.
Mm.
Outside obviously of dentistry and medicine and architecture and
Yeah.
stuff. Obviously, you need qualifications for that stuff. But emotionally intelligent people, i.e., people
Nurses
who,
and doctors and things.
well, anyone can be emotionally intelligent, right? And
Mm.
you may well be extremely emotionally intelligent. What that means is you understand your own emotional state. So you know when you're in the zone and feeling good, right? You know when the nerves start to kick in, a bit of anxiety, a bit of fear, a bit of anger, a bit of whatever that emotion is, you know that, and you know how best to deal with that emotion,
Mm.
right? So I'm sure you get anxious like the best of us. How do you know? Well, you can usually sort of like feel it in your stomach or your palms of your hands or whatever, and you're starting to worry and you're starting to think about the worst that might happen, and it's all just getting slightly twisted in your mind and your heart. And as a result, you might snap at someone or say the wrong thing or in the wrong way or just become distracted and forget to do something. It's going to affect you unless you can feel it coming on and therefore you know what the best strategy is. Might be to just stop what you're doing, go for a walk. Might be to have a bath, might be to have a glass of wine, it might be whatever. But it's a strategy that gets you away from anxiety or that negative reaction, emotion, into a place where you feel good about yourself again.
Mm.
Right? The emotional intelligence also is the ability to pick up other people's emotions.
I do that so well.
Lovely. Are you being truthful there?
Yeah, because I worked in care homes for years, and I could tell with dementia patients that they were going to kick off before anything even happened. Just you could
You,
feel it, you could see it, you can just little tiny things.
Lovely. And you know how best to deal with that.
Yeah,
So you don't escalate the situation. You have that innate ability just to calm everything down and say what needs to be said in the way that it needs to be said, or you just do what you just to bring things back down to where you can
to
work
avoid things from
cooperatively and
escalating.
respectfully, yeah, with other people. That is the greatest communication skill in existence. And that is the top skill in leaders, in team players, um, and just, happy, successful people all over. People who lack emotional intelligence are the people who it's a pain to work with.
Yeah,
Are
true.
people, the deluded idiots who think they're always right, who speak to you in a disrespectful way or make you feel small, or yeah, those are the emotionally unintelligent people. What this color model does is just give us a little bit of a better understanding about the psychology of me, but also the psychology of relationships, the dynamic of relationships, and how we can hopefully learn to get the best out of both.
I love psychology. It's so fascinating. So who do you work with then? What do you do with your project?
What, the foundation, the charity?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things about being dominant yellow is, and I'm speaking for myself here, so you don't have to identify with this, right? But we tend to be pretty crap on our own. As in, left to my own devices, I'll always get distracted and find some reason not to do that nasty little job that I know needs doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and I'm so much better when I'm with someone else because we can chat, I can bounce ideas, we can, find interesting, new, different things to do and ways of, right. I'm crap on my own. So when I decided to try and set up the charity, I just thought, well, how do you do that? I've got
Mhm.
absolutely no idea. Where do you start? I had a chat with my wife about it, and she said, well, who do you want to work with? And I said, well, addicts, homeless, long-term unemployed. I was typically going in a very yellow sort of way, right? And she turned around and just said, you arrogant git. And I said, excuse me? This is why she's so good, yeah? Because she sees through this yellow crap. I said, why? She said, you know absolutely nothing about these people. Who are you to say that they need your color bollocks? Right? I go, fair shout. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. What am I supposed to do? She said, get out there and volunteer. Oh, okay. Yeah, good shout. So I went and volunteered. I became a mentor for ex-offenders,
Wow.
uh, meeting them in prison 2 weeks before release, and then picking them up on release day and seeing them as often as needs be after that to try and get them back on their feet. I worked with BCHA, with long-term unemployed, Bournemouth Churches Housing Association. Um, I went and had a fascinating, delivered a program at Michael's House, for it's like a homeless shelter in Boscombe. All of these amazing places, working with brilliant people, just to get a feel for, is my stuff relevant?
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by it, but is it really top of the agenda for people whose lives are a mess? Um, and from that, um, realized that actually, if we could start relatively young
Yeah.
and in a structured place where people, I don't know, had a little bit of structure and routine in their lives, so that they'd be able to apply themselves to following through on a program, a development program with us. And I was lucky enough to be introduced to a fantastic woman called Liz Davies, who works with another charity called the Shine Project,
I've
who
heard of
works
them.
with lovely 12 to 14, I think, 12 to 14-year-old girls in school, similar sort of catchment group in terms of lacking in confidence, socially struggling. She does a term time program, 1 hour a week, with those 12 to 14-year-old girls. I found her. She's qualified in a very, very similar model to my color stuff. So we already talk the same language. And over a couple of years, we started putting together this program. We call it Building Self-Belief. It's up to 24 hours, 24 contact hours with the young people. And we immediately got in with what was then called the Prince's Trust. Now, obviously, the King's Trust. The Prince's Trust do a fabulous program, what they call it, team, I think. And it's like 12 weeks full time, 9:30 to 4:30, 5 days a week. And for young unemployed people. And it's a really immersive program. It takes them out into the countryside. A lot of them have never been to the countryside before, and leaves them without mobiles and without nicotine for the first time in their lives. Teaches them leadership skills, a little bit of self-awareness, tries to get them motivated into pulling together a CV, trying out different community projects, all this sort of stuff. And the Prince's Trust gave the Colourworks Foundation, my charity, 4 sessions or something like that, 4 half days, just to test it out. And at the end of their 12 weeks, they have to do like a presentation to their families, but also to the great and the good of Dorset. The Lord Lieutenant of Dorset turns up, and everyone in there, medals and finery. And they give a little presentation on what they've learned during the 12 weeks. And of the 12 kids on the program, something like 5 of them said that the best bit was the Colourworks stuff.
That's
and they
amazing.
Just go, oh my God. Oh. So we knew that we had some good stuff. We knew that we had some transformational stuff. And so we started expanding out of there. So we still work with the King's Trust. We work in colleges of further education for those youngsters who don't really know what they're doing there or what to do in life, and they're a little bit lost. We work with kids in care through the local authority. So they give us money to go into schools and work with kids who are in the care system. We work with young carers. Yeah. So My Time Young Carers, we partner with a lot, and we deliver part of their program to young carers. As I've described, we've also just been into prison for the first time, Guy's Marsh Prison, just outside Shaftesbury, and delivered an 8-session program in there. And we're also expanding geographically by training up other people in different parts of the country to deliver this stuff in their regions.
This is huge, Giles. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, it's exciting. It's challenging. The commercial one. So my company, no difficulty expanding that, because people came to me and just said, oh God, I love what you do. Can I do it? And I said, yeah, sure. And so we'd train them up, and then we'd set them up, and they might be in Scotland or Wales or Sussex or Gloucestershire. It didn't really matter. And they, of course, because they could charge a decent enough day rate, could live off that. That could be full-time employment, right? Yeah. But it being a charity where you get, about 10% of what you would charge normally, it's really difficult to find people around the country who can afford to do it. Yeah. And still, I regard myself as relatively lucky that although I'm old, I still, and I do feel old. But although I'm old, I still manage to get a really good connection with young kids. Yeah. I don't know why or how. Every now and again, if I have a bad session and come out and I just think, oh God, I'm too old for this, or they would have listened to someone their own age or someone who they might respect a little bit more. But then the next session I have will suddenly bounce back, and I'll think, "Oh, I'm bloody good at this,"
Yeah.
But kids are great. It's good to be surrounded by youth, I
Yeah.
find.
Well, I work in a school during the week, don't I? So
Oh, do you? Which
yeah.
school?
Linwood School, it's SEN school.
Ah, okay. Hey, we ought to do some work in there. Yesterday I was in Glenmore and Winton.
Yeah.
I don't know what year, with a group of 12 young girls doing a session. And that was because the head of careers I've worked with before. And so she came to me and just said, "Hey, can you come and do a little program for these 12 young girls?" And that's
These
going well.
12 girls were the ones that needed extra support and confidence
Yeah,
boosting.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And how do they react
Um,
to the session then?
um, Great, great. Because it's obviously, you ask any youngster, "Hey, what are your strengths?" And they have no words. They might say, "Oh, I'm good at running," or "I'm really good at Xbox," or something like that. They don't have this sense of a behavioral strength.
Yeah.
Um, and this is what this stuff gives them, is that whatever dominant color you are, you have gifts. If you're dominant red, your gift is to cut through the crap, to keep things going, to be quite ambitious and to the point and fast paced. And there's always space for that stuff. We need people like that because they get things moving and they can imbue in us a sense of confidence and can do. Yeah? If you're dominant yellow, oh God, you're just brilliant at getting people smiling, at raising the mood, at seeing opportunities of involving people because you love to involve people, and telling stories. And stories are so powerful, and the yellow energy does that beautifully. If you're dominant green, just expert listener. Your whole body language and your tone of voice just exudes this care and this real interest in my own welfare. Um, Brilliant at making people feel valued, and appreciated. Brilliant at just saying the right thing at the right time in exactly the right way, because it's genuine, nurturing care. And if you're dominant blue, you're brilliant at organizing your thoughts, at planning, at thinking through everything that might go wrong and having a little contingency plan, at detail and thoroughness and just dotting I's and crossing T's and just making sure that we do it correctly. Everyone has a gift. Everyone has a gift. And it's just wonderful that this stuff gives these young people the language to say, "Oh yeah, actually, come to think of it, I'm pretty damn good." You know, and if they can start to articulate that,
Yeah.
then we're quids in. We're lifting people off the floor and just saying there is hope. You're brilliant as you are. Just focus on being you, not trying to be someone else.
Yeah.
Just focus on being you. Yeah.
It's interesting because when you apply for a job at the BBC, I don't know if it's other places as well, but the first questionnaire is all about your personality and how you react to situations. How do you work as a team, or you a
Oh, is that right?
independent person? It's all about you. Can you train yourself to become another colour? Do you advise that, or just be you?
Do you remember well, first of
Do
all, I'm
you
going to say,
remember? Sorry.
do you remember a wonderful program? It was on the BBC, wasn't it? Faking It.
Sounds familiar. Was
All
that
right.
about businesses
If
or?
no, fantastic program. We're going to run over here, Lorna, and I really apologise. But as you can tell, I can.
Hopefully, it
Um,
won't cut me off. But if it does, we'll just do another Zoom.
okay. Um, um, Brilliant program. I loved it. What they used to do was they would take a volunteer. They would give them 4 weeks intensive training in a new job,
Right.
and then after 4 weeks, they would put this person up in front of two professionals in that job and in front of a panel of five people, and the five people had to select who was the fake, right?
Oh.
And it was brilliant viewing. And my favourite one was this young woman whose idea of a good time was dressing up in Victorian, a Victorian lady's dress with a little parasol and things like that.
Emily
And
from Little Britain.
yeah, exactly. And having pretend tea parties from the 1870s. Right, that was her idea of a good time. She was a librarian. She was very, very introverted and softly spoken. And why the hell she volunteered for this program, I do not know. But they decided that during 4 weeks they were going to turn her into a music video floor production manager. What? The most extroverted job that you can possibly think of, right? This is someone who's got to not only organize the production floor and the choreography and the sound and everything else, but be in control of the whole staff on that floor, right?
Mm.
Well, we're into the third week and she still hasn't raised her voice above a 2 out of 10 because she's just not used to doing it. And into the fourth week, and they're starting to panic, just saying, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. And they took her into a field with a voice coach, and they eventually got her to shout. And oh my God, did she shout? She screamed. It was like something massive inside, right? And she screamed. And she immediately started crying because this was her identifying an element of her own personality that had laid dormant
Yeah.
since she was a tiny baby. Long story short, end of the week, there she is, up against two professionals and a panel of people who would select. Not one of the panels selected her as the fake. She was that convincing. Absolutely unbelievable. So, can you change colors? Yes, of course you can. I think it tends to screw you up.
Mm. What are we saying?
You were saying, what sort of help do you need? So I was saying, yeah, always money, but that's a bit boring. Always prizes for raffles and fundraising type stuff. And other than that, just time. So if you've got a way with young people and you're interested by this sort of work, we need people, not only people who would like to get trained up to be able to deliver programs themselves, but also for volunteers. So every time we go and work with a group of young people, there's a facilitator and one volunteer. Always good to have another set of eyes and
Yeah.
ears in the room, just to be able to, be there for young people who need help, but also great experience. So that we also need help in the back office. Loads of help, loads of
Yeah.
help, loads of help. Yeah. It's Liz is the chief exec, and we were having a chat yesterday about what she's enjoying about the role, and she's very yellow green, loves people, is brilliant at making the other three just feeling part of a team. Got a great culture in the office, and that's massively down to Liz. So yeah, we need stuff, and we need time. That's what we need.
And what does a training program involve then? And what happens? How do you learn? Is it a place you have to go to, or is
Um,
it online?
so yes, it's 2 full days face to face, which well, I say face to face. I have trained up teachers in Coventry and in Great Yarmouth, and we've done a mixture of online and face to face. But I think face to face is best, and there's a little bit of pre-reading just so that we're hitting the ground running when we do spend time together. And then the 2 days are mostly going through the core of the program, so that you're on the receiving end, so that you can get a really good feel for what it's like to be on the receiving end of this, and therefore know how best to tailor it to a young audience.
Mm.
So rather than just present the colors, you went online and had a little look at that. For a lot of young people, I don't really get it. So we have a very sort of gentle introduction of very interactive, experiential learning, we try and call it, of getting up, getting in the line, having a stepping exercise
Yeah.
to demonstrate the difference between introversion and extroversion, realizing that there is a massive spread. You're not one or the other. You could be anywhere on that spectrum. But what does it feel like to be anywhere on that spectrum? What are the strengths of being a massive extrovert or a massive introvert? What are the challenges? And just as critically, how does that come across, or how might it come across to people not like you? So, massive extrovert, yeah, great. What are you good at? Well, I'm good at holding the floor. I'm good at dancing and singing and getting people involved. And then, what does it look like from your introverted perspective? Oh, just shut up. Just shut up. You're too loud. You're in my face all the time. And you're so bloody positive. And you just think, wow, all we've done is a little stepping exercise.
Yeah.
But some of these frustrations that I might have with people who are not like me just come to the surface, and we're able to talk. So we have just a whole raft of exercises. We've tried as far as possible to get away from whiteboards and PowerPoint presentations, because that's too school.
Yeah.
And we want to make it more adult learning and learning through doing rather than just sitting there and listening. So the training program is 2 full days of being on the receiving end, and discussing, obviously, and then standing up and doing a little bit of that yourself, just to sort of give you the confidence that you're able to do it. We've got loads of resources. We've got this massive 3 by 3 meter floor mat with the color spread on it, so like a wheel. So that you can go and stand on that wheel where your position is, and just feel what it's like to look across to the opposite. And there's something that's really nice in that. And we got loads of videos and interactive exercises to bring this learning to life.
Who came up with all these game ideas?
Partly my 15 experience of working with this model in the commercial space, mostly me and Liz, both now with a bit of experience of working with young people and learning from other people who've come and got trained with us. We don't, when they come and get trained, we don't say, this is it, this is what you've got to deliver. Most of our good ideas have come back from people saying, oh, I tried this and it worked really well. We go, oh, God, that's brilliant. There's a teacher from Coventry came back and said, oh, have a look at this I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here clip. I've been using this with my young people, and it's brilliant because it really gets them going. And it's a massive argument in the jungle between Edwina Curry and some American woman, Kendra, or something like that. Massive argument, and it's a perfect example of a lack of emotional intelligence and the clash of colours. Edwina Curry, so blue-red. Kendra, so greeny-yellow. You know, bang, right on screen. Fantastic.
But they'd make a good marriage.
Yes, they probably would. They probably would. Yeah.
I'd love to come and watch your classes. That'd be so cool.
You'd be very, very welcome, Lorna. In addition to that, I'll send you a link now so you can do your profile.
Okay.
Actually, I'll send you two links. One to do because we use a different profile. The commercial profile costs us 55 quid, so we have to sell it for 100 quid.
Right.
And that was never going to work in the charity space. No. So I managed to find another supplier of an inferior profile, but it still does the job. But I get it for a £5.
Nice.
So that's the one we use in the charity. So I will send you the link to both. Do them at your leisure.
Okay.
But then two profiles will come back. It'll be interesting to see, actually, if they match up. But also, you can get a flavour of the commercial one and how that might relate to, I don't know, your colleagues either in the school or at the radio station.
Yeah. Completely different jobs.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the charity and the charity profile, the other profile, which you'll get a really good indication of what the kids get, and that's quite important. I'll send you both links.
Thank you. That'd be amazing. So, how can people get in contact with you, Giles?
With me, my email address is Giles, Giles, at tcwfoundation.org.uk. That's probably the best way. Should I publicise my phone number? Nah. Don't want crank calls. So that's probably the best way. Yeah, we've got a good momentum. We got a good bit of funding from an organization called Global Make Some Noise. And they gave us a good bit of funding over a 2-year period, which took a little bit of the pressure off. Most people in the charity sector will tell you that times are really tough at the moment for funding. And that's partly because of AI, because everybody is using ChatGPT to put together their funding proposals.
Oh, really?
So these grant-making trusts we've been in touch with, where they say, normally we would be receiving 300 proposals by the deadline of the end of November. So far this year, we have received 5,000. And you just go, oh my God. So everybody is really, really backs against the wall where charity funding goes at the moment, which means things are tough. And we've got to think creatively about
so you need some yellows on your team.
You need some yellows on the team. You'll have to come and join us as a trustee, Laura. Or even better, how do you manage to fit in your radio work around your job?
Well, I've got 4 days off this week. Obviously, I don't get paid for it because my daughter's coming down. She's staying with me for 4 days.
Lovely.
I'm very good at shuffling. Sorry?
Where's she coming down from?
Leicester.
Ah, what's she doing up there?
She lives up there now.
Okay.
So she's coming down to stay with me for a few days. I've really missed her. Haven't seen her for ages.
How
I
long's ages?
don't know, 3 months maybe, 4 months.
Oh my God.
So
Oh
I'm
my
going to
God.
go
How
ice
old is she?
skating and do the Christmas lights and just hang out and watch
Great.
movies and yeah, oh, it's great
Fantastic.
good.
How old is she?
She's going to be 23 this year, and she hasn't even seen my other daughter's bump yet because my other daughter's about to give birth. She's only got like 2.5
No.
weeks left. So
No. And
yeah,
she hasn't even seen the bump.
no, she's seen video calls, but she hasn't, seen it in real life.
And is that going to be your first grandchild?
Well, I've got two from my stepson, but this is the first from my one of my children that I birthed
Your,
myself. So I'm so excited.
I bet you are. And is she local?
Yes, she is. Yeah, literally like
Brilliant.
5 minutes away.
Fantastic. So you're
So
just going to be there. You're
I'll
going
be
to
at the
be
birth as well with my partner.
really. You've been
Yeah,
invited to the birth
I
itself.
have.
Fantastic,
Yeah,
Lorna. That is so
I
exciting.
know.
And is that a home birth or a hospital?
No, Bournemouth Hospital. They've got lovely new wards, beautiful wards,
Yes,
massive. Yeah, massive
really.
wards. Yeah. So
Excellent. God, that's something that's so exciting. So that's going to be near Christmas. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, she's due 5th of December, but yeah, Sophie's been getting pains the past few days and like practice contractions. I'm like, woo! But it's my other daughter's birthday on the 26th of November, and Sophie's like, I'm not having her on my sister's birthday. It's not happening. Plus, she's got an appointment to have her hair done, so like priorities. They get all glammed
Good on
up now for the birth. They have their hair and nails done and matching outfits. I'm like, I didn't do that in my
you.
day.
You are kidding me. They don't.
Yeah, Sophie's got a matching
Oh,
dressing gown and a baby outfit. So
oh my God, what's happened to the world?
I
Okay,
know. I'm like,
I
trust me,
know.
when it happens, you'll just want to be at the hospital and just get the baby out and be safe.
We did three home births. Well, no, the first one actually was used to live in Spain, and my first child was born in Spain. Lived in a little town, and we went to the hospital in the town to speak to, the gynecology department or midwife department or whatever it was. And it was so old school that the only birthing option was stirrups, and
Ooh.
I wasn't allowed in the room because I was a man. So we just thought, fuck this, we're not going to do this. So we researched, and the only other option was giving birth in the sea with dolphins. We just thought, oh my God, let's do that. So, so we joined this real far out clinic in Valencia, and the owner invited us to his own house where they built this birthing room in the garden, and that's where we gave birth to our first
It's
child,
amazing.
and the other two were born at home here in Bournemouth. Yeah.
What an awesome
Um,
experience.
that was an experience. That was a hell of an experience. Yes. Um, yeah, I could talk for hours on that as well, but won't.
That's another
Um,
podcast.
that's another podcast. Lorna, I won't take up any more of your time. I hope I haven't bored you silly.
No, I loved
Um,
it. You've actually kept me quiet, which is a hard task.
okay. Well, I'm back to learning bloody choir words.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully she's getting heavy now, isn't she, Jane? And for those of us who've joined relatively recently, there's a hell of a lot of songs in there, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
know.
getting confused. Get confused as to which is which. But hey,
Well, I'll put
I
this
will
together
see.
and I'll let you know, and I'll do little clips as well.
Oh, you're a star. Lovely. Thank you for this, and see you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Bye.